the boy who always worried about what if. In a busy city filled with towering buildings, flashing lights, and honking cars, there lived a boy named Theo. Theo was smart and kind, but he had one big problem. He worried about everything. What if I miss the school bus? What if I forget my words when I speak in class? What if I get lost in the crowd? Every day, Theo's mind was filled with what-ifs, and it stopped him from having fun. He was too nervous to join games at the park, too shy to talk to new classmates, and too scared to try anything different. One day, his wise grandpa gave him a small jar and said, "Every time you say what if in fear, write it on a paper and put it inside. When the jar's full, open it." Theo thought it was a silly idea, but he did as Grandpa said. Weeks passed, and soon the jar was full. Curious, Theo opened it and read his notes. What if I get lost in the supermarket? But he didn't. He found his mom easily. What if I don't make any friends at my new school? But he did, lots of them. What if I fall off my bike? But he didn't. He learned to ride. Theo laughed. Most of the things he had worried about never even happened. Grandpa smiled and said, "Worries are like traffic. They slow you down. But if you only focus on them, you'll never enjoy the ride." From that day on, Theo still had what-ifs. But instead of fear, he turned them into excitement. What if today is amazing? What if I make a new friend? What if I try and succeed? And just like that, Theo learned to enjoy life without fear. Don't let worries stop you from living. Most of the things we fear never happen, and even if they do, we can handle them. The little girl who thought she would never be great. In a small town nestled between rolling hills, there was a little girl named Aisha. She was part of a close-knit group of friends, David, Emeka, Sophia, and Kwame. They all had big dreams, but Aisha always felt she was different. No matter how hard she tried, numbers never made sense to her. While her friends solved math problems with ease, Aisha struggled, often staring at her notebook in frustration. One day in class, their teacher wrote a difficult problem on the board. One by one, her friends solved it, receiving cheers from their classmates. When it was Aisha's turn, she stood frozen, her hands trembling. The numbers swam before her eyes, blurring together. The class giggled. Even the teacher sighed. "You must try harder, Aisha." That night, Aisha cried in her room. "Maybe I'll never be great," she whispered to herself. Her mother sat beside her and gently wiped her tears. "Greatness isn't about what you struggle with now, but what you choose to overcome," she said. Aisha wasn't sure she believed it, but she nodded anyway. Years passed, and the friends grew up, each finding their paths. David became a brilliant engineer, Emeka a renowned doctor, Sophia a celebrated artist, and Kwame an influential entrepreneur. Aisha still doubted herself, but she never stopped trying. Though numbers remained her weakness, she worked tirelessly, refusing to let them define her. She spent long nights solving equations, seeking help, and practicing every day. Slowly, math became less of an enemy and more of a challenge she was determined to conquer. One day, she solved a complex math problem in front of her entire class. The same teacher who once sighed at her stood in awe. The class that once giggled now clapped. She won a national math competition, then an international one. With her newfound confidence, Aisha applied for scholarships and won multiple offers from prestigious universities abroad. When she finally stood on stage at an Ivy League university, receiving an award for her groundbreaking research in mathematical applications, she looked into the crowd and saw her childhood friends beaming with pride. Tears filled Aisha's eyes, but this time they were tears of joy. She had done it. She was great, not despite her struggles, but because she had faced them head-on and emerged victorious. No struggle is too big to overcome. With determination, perseverance, and the right support, even the greatest challenges can be turned into strengths. Never give up on yourself, because greatness comes from pushing past your fears and believing in your own potentials.
The Little Star Who Found Its Shine. Once upon a time, in a vast and twinkling sky, there was a tiny star named Luma. Unlike the other stars that sparkled brightly, Luma's glow was soft and faint. Every night, she watched her friends light up the sky, wondering why she wasn't as bright. "Maybe I'm just not meant to shine," she sighed sadly. One evening, the wise old moon noticed her sadness. "Luma, every star has a purpose," the moon said gently. "You just have to find yours." Determined, Luma set off on a journey across the sky. She asked the Big Dipper, "How do you shine so brightly?" The Big Dipper smiled. "We guide travelers and sailors at night, but your light is different. You might have another gift." Next, she visited the shooting stars. "How do you shine so beautifully?" "We burn brightly as we race across the sky, making wishes come true," they laughed. "But you, little one, are meant for something special." Luma felt even smaller. She drifted alone, wondering if she would ever shine. Just then, she heard a soft cry from below. Looking down, she saw a tiny firefly lost in the dark forest, unable to find its way home. Luma took a deep breath and focused as hard as she could. Suddenly, her glow brightened, not as big as the other stars, but just enough to light a path through the trees. The firefly saw her gentle light and followed it, finally reuniting with its family. That night, Luma realized something important. She didn't need to be the brightest star to make a difference. She just had to shine in her own way. From then on, she became the star of the lost, guiding those in need home. And as she twinkled happily in the night sky, she knew she had finally found her purpose. You don't have to be the biggest or the brightest to be important. Even the smallest light can help someone find their way.
The Lost Key of Eldoria. One stormy night, Liam couldn't sleep. As he dangled his arm off the bed, his fingers brushed against something cold. He pulled out an old glowing map, its edges covered in ancient symbols. Suddenly, his cat, Whiskers, let out a sharp meow, and the walls shimmered like rippling water. Liam blinked. He was no longer in his room. He was in a dark cavern filled with glowing blue crystals. He heard whispers echoing around him, calling his name. Following the map, he carefully stepped over jagged rocks and dodged rolling boulders that tumbled from above. At the cavern's heart stood a stone pedestal. A golden key hovered above it, pulsing with a strange energy. As Liam reached out, the cave trembled. The walls began to shift, revealing a hidden golden door. "The adventure has just begun," a deep voice whispered. The door creaked open, revealing a kingdom bathed in silver light. Liam gulped. He had just unlocked a world beyond imagination. The talking pancake. Emma rubbed her sleepy eyes, ready to dig into her breakfast. But just as she lifted her fork, her pancake jumped off the plate. "Hey, I'm Sir Syrupson on a mission to find the Syrup River," the pancake squeaked. Emma gasped. Did my pancake just talk?" Before she could react, Sir Syrupson rolled across the kitchen counter, sliding down Butter Mountain, somersaulting over a spoon, and bouncing off a pile of whipped cream. Emma chased after him, laughing as he leaped into a bowl of syrup with a tiny splash. "Ah, delicious," Sir Syrupson sighed, floating like a raft. Just as Emma reached for him, beep, beep, her alarm clock rang. She shot up in bed. Phew, just a dream, she mumbled. But when she looked at her plate, a tiny syrup footprint was right next to her fork. The moonlight unicorn. The moonlight unicorn. Lily loved stargazing from her bedroom window, but one night she spotted something strange, a silver feather glowing under the moonlight on her windowsill. When she touched it, the air shimmered, and a majestic white unicorn appeared before her. Its mane sparkled like falling stardust. "You've been chosen," the unicorn said. "The magic realm is fading, and only you can help." Lily climbed onto its back, and whoosh! They soared through the sky, over crystal castles, floating islands, and enchanted forests. They gathered lost magic dust trapped in storm clouds and returned it to the land. When they reached the heart of magic, Lily whispered a wish of kindness, and the world glowed with golden light. The unicorn neighed softly. "Come back any time." Then, with a flick of its tail, it vanished into the stars. Captain Lightning's secret. Ben was an ordinary boy until he sneezed, and sparks shot from his fingertips. That night, a mysterious letter appeared on his desk. "You are the next Captain Lightning. Report to HQ." Following the address, he found a hidden superhero base under his school. A wise scientist handed him a glowing wristband. "This will help control your power. But beware, the city is in danger." Just then, the alarms blared. A giant robo-crab was draining electricity from the power lines. Ben zoomed into action, lightning crackling from his hands. With a powerful zap, he short-circuited the robot's claws, saving the city. As the crowd cheered, Ben grinned. "Guess it's time to save the world." The dancing penguins. On a family trip to an icy island, Mia wandered away and stumbled upon a hidden ice cave. Inside, a group of penguins were breakdancing? "Wanna learn?" asked DJ Flippers, spinning on his belly. Mia nodded excitedly. They taught her to slide, spin, and moonwalk across the ice. But just as the music peaked, the frozen dance floor cracked. The penguins slid toward the freezing ocean. Thinking fast, Mia tapped out a rhythm on the ice, calming the waters. The crack froze back together just in time. The penguins cheered. "You saved our dance floor. Now you're one of us." Together, they danced under the glowing northern lights. The case of the missing shadow. Noah woke up with a jolt. Something felt off. Then he saw it. His shadow was missing. Grabbing his detective kit, he searched his room. Strange footprints led to the attic. He pushed open the creaky door and gasped. A tiny shadow sprite was playing with his shadow like a puppet. "Why did you take it?" Noah asked. "I was bored," the sprite giggled. Noah had an idea. "Stay with me, and we'll solve real mysteries together." The sprite grinned, and so Detective Noah and Shadow became the best mystery-solving duo in town. The Cosmic Race. Una was chosen for the Galactic Hoverboard Championship. The competition? Aliens, robots, and a cloud being. As the race began, Luna's hoverboard malfunctioned. Just as she thought she'd lose, a friendly alien named Zog helped her fix it. They zoomed past asteroids, dodged space loops, and flipped through glowing rings. At the finish line, they crossed together. Instead of one winner, the galaxy crowned them co-champions, because teamwork was the real victory. The Rainbow Builders. Ellie and Max found a magic paintbrush that brought drawings to life. They painted a playground for their town, but a strong wind blew their colors away. Instead of giving up, they combined their ideas, creating an even better masterpiece, a giant rainbow slide. Their teamwork made the playground shine, and the town cheered with joy. The time-traveling watch. Jake discovered an old watch in his grandpa's attic. When he turned the dial, boom! He landed in the dinosaur age. A baby triceratops was stuck in a river. Thinking fast, Jake used his sneakers as a rope to pull it out. Just as a T-Rex roared nearby, the watch beeped, sending him back home. The next morning, a tiny dino footprint was beside his bed. The whispering seashell. Sophia found a glowing seashell on the beach. When she listened, it whispered, "Come to the coral castle." Touching the water, she transformed into a mermaid. Guided by a playful dolphin, she swam past rainbow fish and golden caves until she reached the castle. The Sea Queen thanked her for returning the lost shell and gifted her a pearl necklace, one that would let her visit the ocean any time.
There once was a boy who grew bored while watching over the village sheep. He wanted to make things more exciting. So, he yelled out that he saw a wolf chasing the sheep. All the villagers came running to drive the wolf away. However, they saw no wolf. The boy was amused, but the villagers were not. They told him not to do it again. Shortly after, he repeated this antic. The villagers came running again, only to find that he was lying. Later that day, the boy really sees a wolf sneaking amongst the flock. He jumped up and called out for help, but no one came this time because they thought he was still joking. At sunset, the villagers looked for the boy. He had not returned with their sheep. They found him crying. He told them that there really was a wolf, and the entire flock was gone. An old man came to comfort him and told him that nobody would believe a liar, even when they are being honest. Moral of the story: lying breaks trust.
From struggles to success, the inspiring journey of J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling was a single mother, struggling to care for her daughter in the 1990s. She was very poor and often skipped meals to save money. During this hard time, she wrote Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in cafes, working on it whenever she could. When the book was finished, she sent it to publishers, but 12 of them said no. Finally, a small publisher, Bloomsbury, agreed to print it in 1997. At first, not many people noticed the book. But soon, it became very popular. In just a few years, Harry Potter turned Rowling into the world's first billionaire author. Her story shows that even when life feels so hopeless, you should keep trying, keep showing even in tears and pain, because success might be just around the corner and all your struggles will be a thing of the past.
The remarkable story of a passenger-turned-pilot. In 2019, a small plane in Australia faced disaster when the pilot suddenly became unconscious mid-flight. With no prior flying experience, a passenger was forced to take control of the aircraft. Guided by air traffic controllers, she managed to safely land the plane, saving herself and the unconscious pilot. Her courage and quick thinking turned a terrifying moment into an extraordinary feat, leaving aviation experts stunned.
Mother camel and her baby. A baby camel once asked her mother why they had humps, round hooves, and long eyelashes. The mother explained that the humps could store water, the rounded hooves were to help them walk through the desert, and the long eyelashes protected their eyes from sand. The baby thought over this, and then asked her mother, if they have all these qualities for the desert, why are they in a zoo? The mother was dumbfounded. Moral of the story: your strengths and skills are of no use in the wrong place.
kids.
Do you know you can generate electricity to power a small bulb using a lemon? Here's how. Insert a zinc nail into one side of the lemon and a copper coin into the other. Connect wires from the nail and coin to a tiny LED bulb. Almost like magic, the bulb lights up. The secret lies in the lemon's acid, which helps electrons flow from the zinc nail to the copper coin, creating a small electric current. It's a fun and simple way to see how batteries work.
The Ants and the Grasshopper. A family of ants was drying out the grain they had stored during the summer. A hungry grasshopper comes to them and asks for some food. They asked him why he had not saved any food for the rainy days. The grasshopper said he was too busy making music during the summer that he didn't save any food. The ants had no sympathy for the grasshopper and went back to work. Can you guess the ant and grasshopper story moral? Moral of the story: there's a time to work and a time to play. A glass of milk. There was a poor boy who would sell newspapers to pay for school. One day, he was very hungry and decided to ask for food at the next house he visited. Several homes denied him food. However, a girl at one house offered him a glass of milk and refused to take payment for it. 50 years later, this girl fell sick. No doctor wanted to help her because she could not afford them. She decided to go to the best doctor in the town, although she could not pay. To her surprise, the doctor spent months treating her without asking about payment. When she received the hospital bill, it read "paid in full with a glass of milk." It was then that she realized that the doctor was the gentleman he assisted years back. Moral of the story: good deeds are always rewarded.
Zoo Kids.
Whisper of the Jungle, Kito's Adventure. Whisper of the Jungle. Deep within the heart of the jungle, where the emerald leaves danced with the wind and the rivers sang their endless songs, lived a young leopard named Kito. He was swift, curious, and always eager for adventure. One evening, as the golden sun dipped behind the trees, Kito heard a soft whisper among the vines. "Follow the fireflies, and you will discover the jungle's greatest secret," it said. Intrigued, Kito padded through the undergrowth, his paws barely making a sound. Tiny golden fireflies flitted ahead, leading him past towering trees and across the rushing river. As he followed them deeper into the jungle, he came upon an ancient clearing bathed in silver moonlight. At its center stood the wise elephant, Babu, whose eyes held the wisdom of 1,000 sunsets. "You have listened well, young one," Babu rumbled. "The secret of the jungle is not in its hidden places, but in its harmony. Every creature, great and small, plays a part in its song." Kito looked around and saw the jungle in a new light. The chattering monkeys, the whispering wind, the rustling leaves, all playing their part in nature's grand symphony. With a grateful heart, Kito returned home, the whispers of the jungle forever etched in his soul. That night, as he curled up beneath the starry sky, he listened, not just with his ears, but with his heart. And so, in the heart of the jungle, where the fireflies danced and the river sang, Kito continued to explore, knowing that the greatest adventures came from listening to the world around him. The end.